Okay, I am Bhante Varrapanyo, and we can see here. As per usual, we can expect some connection difficulties. So hopefully that won't discourage anyone too much. This is our community gathering for the opportunity to share our experience, to ask questions, to practice Zen meditation, and also to listen to some Zen teachings. Another vital aspect of this gathering is very much about the intimacy or the directness of being in community with other practitioners, right? The aliveness of being in the present moment, practicing mindfulness together, not as an isolated person, something that we do as an exercise in our closet, but being able to practice mindfulness, present moment awareness with others, with the community. So you can feel welcome to turn on your camera if you're here in the Discord, and also some people following along on YouTube, which is wonderful. It's so great that we can offer this space together. In being here, I really recommend that you carry a certain mind of generosity. So a mind of not what can you get from this experience, this activity, but how much can you open, how much can you widen out, how much can you share out your heart, how much can you give away the thoughts that come up, how much can you abandon your life up until now, how much can you abandon the past, how much can you give away the future, and just penetrate, step into very deeply, very fully this present moment experiencing, and to understand quite clearly that the others who are here are also practicing like this. They would not otherwise be able to be here. So that we can feel this collective energy of mindfulness and this collective energy of sincerity, authenticity. I thought it would be nice if we start with some Zen teachings. So these are just two verses that I came across, and I found out they were very inspiring to me and inviting to me. So I think I will read these, offer these to the community, and we can sit together a bit and kind of immerse in that and open up to that. And maybe we can discuss or share our experience. But it's very much, this is the opportunity to be intimate, vulnerable, authentic, and that is the ideal conditions for our meditation mind, for our heart mind to be in the forefront of our life. So in that sense, it's not about Buddhism, it's not about meditation, it's not about our spiritual journey, it's not about anything. It's about everything, and it's right here and now. Okay, so this first verse here is from a Zen master named Qianju, and the title of it is Studying Zen. And for anyone who doesn't know this, Zen is like the truth, the original truth. So how do we study the original truth? How do we study that which is more essential than all words and phrases, more real than all of reality, more authentic than the most authentic experience? And we can also call Zen as enlightenment, or the original truth, or the ultimate true nature. We can use words like this. Super Kundalini, ultimate enlightenment. So studying Zen. Do you want to study Zen? You must let go. That's the first line. Do you want to study Zen? You must let go. Let go of what? Let go of the 4 elements and the 5 clusters. Let go of consciousness conditioned over incalculable time. Let go of the 4 elements is the 4 elements that constitute our body: water, fire, earth, wind, something like that. So let go of all the elements of the body and elements of the material world. And also let go of the 5 clusters. I'm guessing this is talking about the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and the senses that go along with them. So let go of the seeing, let go of the hearing, let go of the mind, let go of the body. Do you want to study Zen? You must let go. Let go of consciousness. Okay, so let go of this kind of quality of ego, or this quality of a self, this quality of the general habit energy of our mind, we can say. Let go of consciousness conditioned over incalculable time. Let go of consciousness conditioned over incalculable time. We may have a certain perspective about our consciousness and our life and our ego, something in those ways of thinking, about our past that we experienced, our traumas, our successes, our good, our dark, our light, etc. But actually this consciousness, this body, this present moment expression is coming from incalculable time, incalculable cause and effect, interrelationship between phenomena. All of our ancestors we are our ancestors for hundreds and thousands of years, right here and now. Focus on right where you stand and try to figure out what the reason is. Focus right now where you stand and try to figure out what the reason is. What is this? What is this situation? What is this experience? But not the thinking about it, not the idea, the reason, the essential point of it. Focus on right where you stand and try to figure out what the reason is. Keep on pondering. Keep on contemplating, looking intimately, looking deeply, looking most serenely. It's not an erratic kind of thinking way of looking at our experience or our situation, but keep on pondering, and suddenly the flower of mind will bloom with enlightenment, illuminating the whole universe. So from right here where we are, from right where we stand, the entire universe will be illuminated. Way beyond fixing our problems and our worries and our stressors that we're trying to solve our life, and I want to do less of this and I want to do more of this. I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to start jogging, etc. It's so much beyond that. Keep on pondering, focusing on right where you stand, and suddenly the flower of mind will bloom with enlightenment, illuminating the whole universe. This can be called getting it in the mind, responding to it in action. Thereupon you can turn the earth into gold and churn rivers into cream. Wouldn't that make life exhilarating? So from our penetration into present moment experiencing, the way things are right here, right now, exactly, precisely this moment, we can attain the ultimate freedom, the ultimate joy, the ultimate power, the ultimate healing, the ultimate satisfaction. We can turn the earth to gold. We can churn the waters, the oceans to cream, right here and now, not getting what we want, not avoiding what we don't want, not becoming a better version of ourselves, not solving our problems, but allowing the flower of mind to bloom with enlightenment, to bloom with awareness. Do not just memorize sayings, recite words, and discuss Zen and the way based on books. Okay, so this can go for any spiritual path. This can go for Buddhism or what have you. Do not just memorize sayings, recite words, and discuss Zen and the way based on books. The Zen way is not in books. So the true way of spiritual enlightenment or spiritual transformation, whatever school or system you're working with, is not in books. And it's also not in thinking. It's not in our ideas. It's not in our stories, period. Even if you can recite the teachings of the whole canon and all the masters and philosophers, they are just useless words of no avail when you are facing death. And in a sense, we are always facing death. We are always facing impermanence. We are always facing the temporariness of whatever we experience, the temporariness of every thought we have, the temporariness of every pleasure we feel, and of course, the temporariness of all the unpleasant experiences we have as well. So even if you memorize all the teachings, even if you can recite and chant all the Zen masters, all the philosophers, all the Buddha's words, they are just useless words of no avail when you are facing death. And so that's a really clear pointer that we step into a place that is more vivid, more transparent than words. we recognize that the space is what makes the cup valuable. The space is what makes our home valuable. The space is what makes our car valuable. The space is what makes our life valuable. And sometimes that space is quite spacious, and sometimes it's quite cramped. Sometimes it is filled up with pleasure. Sometimes it's filled up with pain. Sometimes it's filled up with positive, self-fixated ideas. Sometimes it's filled up with negative, self-fixated ideas. But the space is at the nature of whatever is in the cup. So our practice is not to rely on words, not to rely on these descriptive capabilities that we have, but rather to penetrate into present moment experiencing, to awaken with the emptiness, to dance with the band of arising and passing away, moment by moment, right? Especially from this place of standing where you are. And I think less so in the past, in ancient China when the Zen masters were very famous there, or ancient India where the Buddha was. I think people tended to be a little bit more grounded in the body, just naturally. They had to be. But we, as modern people, there are so many opportunities for being completely detached from the body. So it's kind of a prerequisite for working with these practices and our meditative way, right, of not just relying on words and phrases, that we are grounded in the body. We recognize where we stand. And where we stand is this body, this heart, these lungs that are vividly essential. Our greatest treasure, and we're carrying them with us all the time. The lungs expanding right now is right where we stand. The ancients, the ancient practitioners, those who came before us, sought illumined guides only after they themselves had awakened and understood, in order to pick out the rubble and completely purify their realization of truth. So we can't be here, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have some degree of awakening, some degree of understanding, some degree of seeing through the falsehood of the self, some degree of seeing through the falsehood of separation, some degree of seeing through the emptiness of unsatisfactoriness. So what are we awakening to? What are we understanding? Awakening to the truth of just like this, just as it is. Just the lungs expanding and contracting. The spaciousness that is inclusive of everything and not burdened by anything, no matter how difficult it may be. We understand the truth of impermanence, understand the truth of ever-new impermanent nature, right? So we have awakened to that truth, that mark of reality. Otherwise, we couldn't be here. We wouldn't. But in that path, we continue to seek illumined guides, skillful means, seek the Sangha, be in the community so that we can pick out the rubble and completely purify. Pick out the rubble of our life and completely purify this heart-mind. So we don't seek illumined guides, or we don't look to someone as a teacher because they're, the king of the universe, and we just do whatever, we just follow them blindly. We just believe in them. No, they are walking the path that we are on. They are skillful to take care. They are skillful to help. And so we use them without attachment. We cooperate with them. So that we can completely purify our realization of truth, completely purify our experience of freedom, our recognition of the innate freedom that is always there, even in the midst of unpleasantness and difficulty. And that is the power of detachment, to step back and widen out. And that becomes our position of authenticity. Not reactivity, not even responding, but awareness itself, detachment itself. Taking the position of impermanence itself. Nibbana itself. Okay, so the last line here. When they could measure pounds and ounces accurately, they were like people opening variety stores, carrying all sorts of goods. So there's a kind of a very famous Zen monk, and he's been almost deified in the Buddhist canon. He's a monk by the name of Hotai, and now he's also referred to as Maitreya, so like the future Buddha. And a lot of people think this is actually the Buddha, this big, fat, kind of Santa Claus looking guy, monk, very big belly, always smiling. He's like a good luck Buddha. And the story of Hotai was that he was this enlightened monk who wandered around, always wandering around aimlessly, and of course, very happy and enlightened. So he got a lot of support, and he ate a lot of food. So he was very fat, walking around like that. And he had a big bag. He would carry a very, very big bag full of candies and treats, and also things that were donated to him, I'm sure. And so he's also often depicted with children just hanging all over him, right? Following him around, this embodiment of joy and luck and freedom. So when we realize the truth, when we clarify this water that is innately pure, right? The truth is innately the truth, regardless of the disturbances that happen to it or the sediment that is in it. The water is innately pure. So also our mind, our true mind, is innately pure. But once we can clarify that purity, once we can clarify that truth, we are just like those ancients who could measure pounds and ounces accurately. We are just like Hotai, the great wandering monk and embodiment of the future Buddha, opening variety stores, carrying all sorts of goods, having a pack that is not full of burdens, but is full of gifts, goods. Ways and means of liberating people. Okay, let's sit with this story for a little bit, and that is an open sitting, so if anyone has a question about what we read so far, or that's the whole verse, that's the whole thing, you can bring it up, or a general question. You can also share your experience, and especially we can breathe, we can enjoy our freedom together. A few moments. Anyone have question or sharing some experience about this reading? Some insight? Actually, we should be careful about our mindset, our view, our understanding that we bring to meditation. It's quite easy to bring the wrong view and the wrong understanding to meditation practice, which makes it both unstable, right? Difficult to be consistent with, but also to be missing the true value of meditation. So recently I've taken to saying real meditation is not about meditation. Real meditation is not about meditating. And that is to say that there's no particular period of your life to meditate in. There is not someone to meditate. There is not some place where you meditate. There is not some time, some particular time to meditate. This is the ground of the truth, the ground of ever new impermanent nature. And so our meditation is a natural opening, an uncontrived being with the truth, which doesn't have a particular person that it's about, a particular place or a particular time. And whatever efforts we put forth to train the mind, to do good deeds, to practice mindfulness, to practice meditation, it should all have this sense of openness to it and the right view, the right understanding to it. Not I am doing this, doing only, experiencing only, right? Following your breathing only. And that's not about a particular period of time. It's not about any goal that you're setting. And so then we bring that right view and that right understanding and that right effort to this. But this is not a particular thing or way or place or time or person. So it is inclusive of some intensive, contrived meditation retreat. Of course, you go, you should, that's doing good deeds, that's practicing meditation. But don't you lose the right view, don't lose the right understanding. Don't lose your connection to the truth, which is not about success or failure or progress or gain or loss. It's not about being attached, not about being trapped. It is freedom to come and go, to breathe in and out. Being mindful 24/7 is to be mindful now. This is 24/7, 365. This is Pluto, Mars, Jupiter, the whole Milky Way rolled up into one. Now that is what is meant by the ancients sought illumined guides only after they themselves had awakened and understood. You see for yourself present moment experiencing. You see for yourself detachment. You see for yourself the truth of impermanence. Now, how we develop that relationship, right? How we sustain that relationship, how we nurture that relationship is very practical, very simple, very ecological. It's not, you don't need to think about it. You don't need to, no self, but what about this? What about that? Doing good deeds, mindfulness, detachment. Okay, for Buddhism, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Being in active relationship with the community of monks and nuns or the community of practice. Being in active relationship with the Buddhist teachings, the truth teachings. Being in active relationship with your innate potentiality to end, to finish, to restart, to refresh, to begin again. Your innate capacity to be compassionate, your innate capacity to be generous, your innate capacity to be free. Your innate capacity to be beyond good or bad, right or wrong. To be completely human. Thank you, Cain. Cain said, letting go of the meditator, letting go of the seer, letting go of the hearer, letting go of the breather. Now that's insightful. That's actually clear advice for how do we work with our breath in meditation, because people often get into a trap about this. Should I be controlling my breath? Should I be breathing deeply? Oh, I don't want to control my breath, but I'm controlling it. No, let go of the breather. Just breathe. It can be deep, it can be shallow, it can be quick, it can be slow. All right. Avoid drifting off. Very, very important. Oh, we have one question before we continue from Jamie. Jamie, can you use your microphone? Do you have a microphone, Jamie? Okay. So Jamie says, how can we work on being more grateful of the present, not just living in the present, but truly appreciating it? Start to do good deeds. Start to bring wholesomeness to your present moment way of life. If your present moment way of life is primarily about selfishness, okay, if your present moment way of life is primarily about getting what you want and avoiding what you don't want, then quite naturally, that's going to be a situation that is not conducive for feeling contentment or feeling general, deep, meaningful appreciation, right? It's our goodness that gives us that sense of wholesomeness, of richness, of brightness. You know, I like to tell young men, I've been lucky enough to be working with a lot of young men recently in some online communities. And I try to tell them about this basic principle of if you do good, you feel good. If you do bad, you feel bad. So we need to start doing good more and more. We need to start doing good deeds more and more. We need to be generous more and more. We need to be volunteering more and more, sharing out what we have more and more, and not to be shy about it. But that's not actually about being nice. It's not about meeting an expectation that someone else has or a desire that someone else has. It has nothing to do with meeting the desires of other people. Rather, it's more in line with a deep listening. It's more in line with opening to the opportunities that are available in life to take care and to express your consideration. You know, especially when it comes to other people suffering, just to listen deeply, right? To hold space. You can offer out your mindfulness. But I tried to explain it for these young men in terms of, because a lot of people have trouble sleeping. A lot of people are overstimulated, especially at night. And there's also this push, this idea, I need to go to sleep now. And actually, I have not found that to be a very healthy idea. I think this notion of forcing ourselves to go to sleep actually causes a lot of quite negative coping mechanisms of being a authoritarian advisor for ourselves. No one likes authoritarianism, especially when we're in a completely safe and reasonable and comfortable environment. Why am I forcing myself to go to sleep? What's this about? And it's very, that's a very intimate time and a very subtle time to go to sleep. So anyway, what I will tell them about, and I've had trouble sleeping so much in my life and not being able to sleep at night and trying to force myself to, which got me into all kinds of knots and tangles, while never having any more understanding about what it means to rest or what's going on, what are the processes that are going on as I prepare to rest. What is rest about anyway? So I will tell them about, okay, so you stay up all night. You can't sleep, right? You're not able to go to sleep. And the next day you have something to do, something important. And all night you do what you shouldn't do. You do bad deeds. You do unskillful activities. You overconsume mentally. You overconsume physically. You saturate yourself in unwholesome content, or things that are just not good for you, doing what you shouldn't do. Maybe it's smoking, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's overeating, maybe it's overconsumption of media or particular kinds of media. Can be anything. Now, that next morning you have something you've got to do, so you've got to kind of go and do that. In that case and in that situation, you're going to feel really, really bad. Okay, and the tiredness just makes it worse, but mainly you feel bad because you didn't take care of yourself. Now, if you go through the same situation, okay, but you took care of yourself during the evening, you let yourself rest, you nurtured yourself, you attended to yourself, you were a caretaker, you cleaned up the house, you took care of things that needed to be taken care of. Yeah, you feel tired tomorrow, it's difficult, but actually you feel good, you feel safe, you feel enveloped in your goodness. Now that's just talking about one night and the effects that it has. But when it becomes a habit, when it becomes a way of life, you develop conditions, right? You develop these unskillful ways of being that permeate throughout your life. And you think it's because you didn't get enough sleep, or you think it's because you didn't get what you want, or you made this mistake, or what have you. You didn't do things perfectly. But actually, it's because you're not being good. You're being bad. You're not doing what you should do. You're doing what you shouldn't do. And you're doing it a lot. Not doing what you should do and doing what you shouldn't do. So actually, it's not about eating. It's not about sleeping. It's not about taking care of our physical health. It's not about things going the way we want them to go. It's about doing what we should do limitlessly, more and more. It's about changing the direction of your life fully and completely from the essential moment, which is this moment. No excuses, no debates, no, oh, I've got to go to sleep now. I'm not tired, but I've got to force myself to sleep. Okay, time for YouTube, time for TikTok, time for my unskillful coping mechanisms of trying to control my life rather than living my life. And we should to live our lives through our goodness, through our generosity, through our opening, through practicing meditation more and more, through practicing mindfulness more and more, through following and connecting with and using our time and energy and resources to go towards spiritual teachers and good conditions and good environments for healing and developing our lives. This is 24/7. 24/7 exists when you start to live a 24/7 life, which is that every day, every hour, every minute, every second is right here and right now. And how you live right here, right now, that is what your 24/7 is going to be. And it's always been like that. We haven't taken the reins. No one told us about this. No one said anything to us, I think, for a lot of people. Right? So now is that we need to dare to go beyond our limitations. We need to dare to not sleep. We need to dare to not eat. We need to dare to leave our home. We need to dare to be generous beyond our means. Okay? Mainly in terms of our mental and physical actions that are skillful and wholesome. Oh, I can't meditate anymore. I can't show up anymore. I can't try anymore. It's not the right time. I can't get up now. I can't take care now. I can't do good deeds now. No, you need to be generous beyond your limitations. You need to do beyond your limitations. And all along the way, of course, kindness, of course, patience, of course, to enjoy. But you need to dare to not enjoy. And our mindfulness brings that 24/7 life home. Dare to be mindful more and more. It's most essentially for ourselves, but this is a self that is not discriminatory. Most of the responsibility that we're taking is the body that we happen to be, quite involved with. Most of the responsibility we're taking is the mind that we happen to be quite attached to. But the others are the ways and means for inspiration and encouragement to go beyond our limitations, to go beyond this body and this mind. So we need to know how to use other people without attachment, but to use only. We need to know how to experience other people without attachment, but to experience only. And the key word here is both of the words experience, penetrate, enter, go. Use, penetrate, enter, go. It's not consumption. It's not entertainment. It's not enjoying ourselves, right? It's doing good deeds. It's using, it's experiencing. Only. Without attachment, without a narrative, just that. Just use it, just experience it, just do it. Just show up. Just open the heart, just open the eyes, just open the ears, just get out of bed. Be ready to dare to use everything, dare to experience everything. Just do it, just try. Okay, my master, my teacher here, that's one of the things he will say a lot. Okay, you can try. Someone asks him for permission. Can I do this or try to set this up or, do a teaching for this group, something like that. He will say, okay, you can try. And that's what we need to do. We need to try. And if you're here, there's already a direction that you are curious about. There's already a light that you've seen. There's already an awakening that you've had, an insight that you've had. And there's a direction that insight is leading you, pointing you towards. So dare to do it, to try. Dare to ask for help. Dare to abandon that which you are carrying with you. Because the less that you carry, the more ready you are to go. Avoid drifting off. And this is by the same author, the same Zen master, Qianju. If you really want to deal with birth and death, just avoid drifting off under any circumstances. Whether you are dressing or eating, attending the calls of nature, walking, standing, sitting, or laying down. Avoid drifting off is to stay with uh, a method of penetration, a method of entering, a method of facing, a method of being there. And we can say, avoid to abandon or avoid to forget about doing good deeds. Don't drift off. Don't put down doing good deeds. Don't put down this intention. To be mindful. Don't put down, don't drift off. Be mindful in whatever you do. And of course, you'll find if you're holding that intention or reifying that intention of doing good deeds or reifying that intention of being mindful, you're going to let go of a lot of things. Not because you reject them, not because they're bad or wrong or you want to be a better person, but because it's not suitable. You are busy. You are involved in doing good deeds more and more, and you couldn't be interfered with. It's not acceptable. You are doing the work that you should to do. Same with being mindful. You don't get lost in thought. You don't fall into anxiety. You don't fall into a week-long depression. You don't fall into an episode because you're busy. You don't have time for it. Yeah, things come up, especially if you start practicing for real. Depression's going to come up. A mental episode is going to come up. A physical episode is going to come up in your meditation, in your social experience, whatever. But if you are doing what you should do, if you dare to do what you should do without any limitations, then that is just going to be a temporary experience that you learn and grow from and go beyond. You're too busy for depression. You're doing good deeds. Okay? So avoid drifting off under any circumstances, whether you are dressing or eating, attending the calls of nature, walking, standing, sitting, or laying down. Be like someone who sees a ferocious tiger, totally engrossed in getting away and escaping with their life. Or be like someone on a battlefront who only wants to kill the leader of a rebellion. Only when they have taken the leader's head can they rest. Why bother with grasping and rejection, purity and defilement, the profane and the sacred, the right and the wrong, and so on? Otherwise, it's all a waste of effort. When will peace ever be attained? Now, the method is doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. The Zen, what gives it the Zen is detachment. Okay, so the detachment is spoken to right here. Why bother with grasping and rejection? Why bother with purity and defilement, the profane and the sacred, right and wrong, and so on? In one sense, you are too busy doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment, moment by moment mindful, to concern about this is right, this is wrong. You are learning through your experience, and all along the way, you are to do only, to experience only, as someone who sees a ferocious tiger, totally engrossed in getting away or escaping with their life, or being like someone on a battlefront who only wants to take the life of the leader of the rebellion. Only when they have taken the leader's head can they rest. So there's no time for rest. There's no extra energy for bothering with dualistic thinking, story. What is good? What is bad? You're too busy. You're too involved with mindfulness and detachment. Okay, and mindfulness is also, meditation is also a good deed. But it says very clearly, why bother with grasping and rejection when you're on the battlefront? Why bother with purity and defilement, right and wrong? when you are face to face with a ferocious tiger. Otherwise, it's all a waste of effort. When will peace ever be attained? So you need to go straight forward. Otherwise, you take this left and that right and turn back this way and go back that way and make this excuse and fall into this contrivance. You justify wasted energy, you justify wasted time. So if you're like that, when will there ever be peace? When will peace ever be attained? When will the fruits ever come about? If you work in this way, it has some relevance to birth and death. So if you work in this way of mindfulness more and more, doing good deeds more and more, volunteering more and more, meditating more and more, then this has some relevance to birth and death. This has some relevance to this kind of fundamental situation that we find ourselves in, right? I am attached to life, but the nature of this life is death. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? Be like someone who sees a ferocious tiger totally engrossed in getting away and escaping with your life. Avoid drifting off under any circumstances. If you work in this way, it has some relevance to birth and death. It has some relevance to the great matter. Otherwise, it's all contrivance. It's all a game. It's all playing around. It's all lost in the sauce. It's all contrived political nonsense without benefit on the way. So it's really not going to help you. All this thinking and all this involvement, that's really not going to help you be free from this situation, from this tiger, to end the war, to end the battle. A former teacher said, "Do not get stuck in small successes. You must reach the state of the ancients before you attain freedom in life and death. Otherwise, it is all something on the shore of birth and death. There is really no end in sight." So the essential here is don't get stuck in small successes. You must reach the state of the ancient ones, the state of the great ones of the past, right? The great practitioners, before you attain freedom in life and death. And this is the work that we are here to do, to attain freedom. So be mindful all the time. Do good deeds continuously, more and more. Make it the fundamental priority for your life. Don't drift off. Don't waste your life energy, because if you do, it will all be in the realm of contrivance. It will all be in the realm of wasted effort. And ultimately, you will never experience the true relief. Now, there are small successes. There are experiences of relief. Don't get stuck in them. You should endeavor to reach the state. You must to reach the state of the ancients before you can attain and have that real freedom. Okay, so my friends, any questions or sharing experience of our practices today? Don't be shy.
awareness that I'm going to die, that we're all going to die, it makes it easier to live in the here and the now. And the things I do, it's more valuable because I know I'm gonna die. This is could be the last time I do it. I think it's a good way to be in the here and the now, to have that awareness that I'm gonna die. This is temporary. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And it came up for me that I have experienced, and we should all experience, living a life that is meaningful in such a way that losing our life is not something we take lightly. You know, we don't see death as something vague or general. We live a life in such a way that this is a wonderful life. This is a precious life for me to help others, for me to help myself, and I can help others to be free. I can help myself to be free. So this is a life worth living. And from that position, the turbulence on the plane takes a whole different dimension, right? The reality of birth and death is vivid and clear, and it is something that brings us into the present moment. But if we live a vague life, if we are satisfied by contrivances, if we are satisfied by small successes, then we will never even to reach the precipice of freedom from life and death. The small success is not enough. The contrivances are not satisfactory. Wasted effort, wasted time. We should be too busy in doing good deeds more and more, in being mindful more and more to follow the political situation. And that doesn't mean that your way of doing good deeds may have connection points to that. It might be you might be involved with it, but you're too busy to be stuck in the contrivance of it. You're doing good deeds more and more. Okay. Thank you, dear Christina.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question or sharing experience? Let's dedicate the merits so everyone can bring their hands together like me. And you can repeat after me. And merits are when we do good deeds, when we practice meditation, when we volunteer, when we act out from our place of generosity, we make merit, the good effects from good deeds. So if you have been here following with me and joining with me in this group, you have made a lot of merits. And so we will dedicate them for all beings. So you can repeat after me. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out towards all sentient beings. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out toward all sentient beings. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out toward all sentient beings. May these merits light the path to complete and total awakening. May we all walk this path together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well done, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this community what it is. Take care.